Hey everybody, and welcome back to another weekly upload of Vacuum Exposition. I, of course, am Carl, and we are back to take a look at another really cool one today. So, before we get into it, thank you all again for checking out our books. I'm going to continue to put the link down below and definitely keep taking a look at those. And if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go ahead down below, check that link out, and go on and see me and my wife's publishing page. We write children's books now for kiddos that are needing some help with their speech sounds. My wife being a speech therapist, and then me being an artist of the sort. I do all the illustrations and she does the writing. But for those that have checked it out, thank you again, of course. For those that have bought copies, big thank you, because that gets our names out there more and more. But thank you all again for all of that. Now on to some more other current business. Now, I told you guys that I would be starting a Workbench Wednesday series. I didn't get a chance to get some pictures out, mostly because I've been really busy this past week. But I've got a vacuum to show you guys of what I've been looking at. It kind of goes into some vacuums rescued. So we'll take a look at that in a moment. But otherwise, that's all I have for some housekeeping information. We're going to keep doing, vacuum exposition and trying out some new things. So I've got some ideas in the tank, so we'll be taking a look at those. So without further ado, let's get on to our Workbench Wednesday project, as well as, it's a vacuum rescue. So let's get to that. All right, everybody. So we've got ourselves a new vacuum. Now, for those that don't know, I live in an apartment and I actually live within spitting distance of the big dumpster that the entire complex utilizes. Now, from time to time, people move out, and I've actually talked about this before on the channel, but people move out and they don't really want to take the vacuum cleaner. A lot of the times because, the vacuum cleaner was pretty cheap, and ultimately you use it for a long amount of time and it gets to a point where it needs to be at least cleaned out or serviced or something like that. Well, this is another one. Now, this one is actually a bit older. This is probably from like I want to say late 80s, early 90s. My Oric friends will probably correct me on this and down in the comments, but this is a Oric XL, which stands for extended life, or an Oric Classic, as it says on the front there. This one is a little bit basic in its offerings in terms of additional amenities it comes with. No headlights, so just a flat hood on the front here. Their patented bag and in-handle design here that Oric has gone with, well, since their inception back in the 60s all the way up to today. This one also doesn't have the ergonomical handle that Oric had, the big one that has the loop on it. We saw it on that Oric commercial upright recently. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. But this one just has the regular rubber handle grip goes on that, but also has the hole so you can hang it up on the wall to get it out of the way. But this machine I found today, actually, and I would have loved to have gotten more done for Workbench Wednesday, but unfortunately, I just ran out of time this week. With getting a new truck and getting everything figured out with that, it's been a lot of work on my side, so didn't get a whole lot done with that. But either way, I got this Oric today actually. Saved it, vacuum saved. But I also started working on it a little bit, got it a little cleaned up. Still got to do a little bit of work to it on the bumper. It's still a little grimy, but threw a new bag in it. It had a tear actually in the bag, so I fixed that. This one, however, is not going to stick around in my collection. I have a good amount of Orics in my collection, and I love them. Don't get me wrong. Not getting rid of any of the other ones that I have, but this one is a little bit more common. And I've had several that were kind of like this in the past, and ultimately, I really like Orics. Don't get me wrong, the design is really cool, but ultimately they do perform pretty similar to each other. And being as that this one was one that I did find by the dumpster and has had a pretty, useful life, I figure, you know what, I'm going to freshen it up, get it ready for somebody, and get it into the hands of somebody else. But if you guys out there are watching and you are big fans of the Oryx, please let me know. Either find me on Facebook. I'm still under Constellation Carl over there. Shoot me a message request or whatever, and we can chat about it, and I can see what I can do about getting it sold and boxed up and whatnot. Otherwise, it's going up for sale locally here in the next day or so. That way I can recoup some funds. I do have a lot of vacuums for sale right now, so if you are interested, I'll also put a link to my eBay page down below. Get yourself something really cool out of all the machines I've been getting ready for sale. So, but that's my contribution for Workbench Wednesday today. And I will try to have more stuff for you guys next week. If not, at least a vacuum's rescued. So do stay tuned, but let's get on to our vacuum in question today. And of course, the one that's in the thumbnail. So let's get to that. All right, everybody. Well, probably a good reason why I'm dressed in all black today, because we got ourselves a vacuum all dressed in black. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are looking at this with question marks. What is this? Why is this? Who is this? Well, it's a pretty interesting machine, I will say myself. It is a 1994 Kenmore Proformance cleaning system that was offered for 1 year. Now, a lot of you, I can tell, have some recollections. I've seen this before, haven't I? Maybe. The one I saw was quite a bit different, actually. Now, this actually goes in the set with another machine that was actually a soft bag machine called the Kenmore Power Center. They were kind of the same machine ultimately, but this obviously had the hard bag, and it had a soft bag, and it had more tool mounts. This one doesn't have any tool mounts. It may have had some at some point, or maybe they were never put on it, which I want to say they probably were never put on it because I don't see like evidence that there was screws ever put in some of the studs on the back that would hold on a tool set that aren't holding on like anything up here. But I know kind of that some of you guys out there are like, well, this is definitely not a Proformance. If not, this had to have been the first Proformance that came out, because the Proformance machine was actually more so a Panasonic derivative that was made for Sears under the Kenmore name. That was quite a bit bigger of the machine. And actually, to show my point and to show what it looked like, I'll show the ad for this machine that the other Proformance was actually offered in right here. Now, as you can see, they're quite a bit different in design. This has more of a Hoover Elite design, if you will, almost similar to the Oric that we just took a look at a few minutes ago. But what we have here, and I'll turn it around so you guys can see it, but you have your main base right here with your motor and all that in there. Your suction would go up through the handle and into this big plastic box right here. That's the same design that Oric essentially uses for their uprights, as well as others over time. But the Hoover Elite actually used a very similar design with plastic handle and plastic bag box type thing in theirs, which makes sense because in the 90s, as well as back into the 80s, Hoover was developing the Elite, which was a very similar design to this machine, and were direct competitors. This machine being Sears' variant. I know Eureka had theirs. They had, the Boss, the World Vax, the Powerline uprights, and then Kenmore had their Proformance right here. Now, they would later do away with this design after that 1 year, remember, and then only continue with those big bodied uprights, which, like I said, were a Panasonic derivative that was actually more similar to the JetFlow, or even like the Sharp uprights, for those that remember those, which is actually kind of funny because it all harkens back to Hoover, interestingly enough. The Panasonic JetFlow, which was a machine that was made throughout the 70s and 80s, was a vacuum cleaner that was made in Japan. However, they had bought the patent for the Hoover Dial-O-Matic and then continued it into the design that would continue on, so that technically they actually still make that original design today. But that's a story for a different day. If not, we've already told that story before. But we're on this one right here. Now, this thing is all cool. I mean, when you look at this compared to a Hoover Elite, this had this nice sleek headlight. You had your height adjustments right here. You had your tool and hose hookup right here. In addition to that, you had a 9.5 amp motor, which wasn't nearly as powerful as some of the other variants or options that were out at that time, but still, this thing packs a punch and has a really nice wooden brush roll that grooms the carpet super, super nicely. Now, in terms of other options, it advertises the Stair Clean Grip, but there is in no way any particular scenario where I would ever grab from underneath here. And I'll say it because these 90s vacuum cleaners are getting to be real brittle. Their plastic's old. They weren't necessarily planned to have survived this long. It's because of people like me that have kept them going, as well as, other collectors out there. But ultimately, these cool machines, well, they survived long enough to die and then they got thrown away. This is one of the only ones I've ever seen. And the reason why I have it is from my good friend Philip. And interestingly enough, and coincidentally enough, the vacuum rescue, that Oric, well, Philip is a huge Oric fan. So interestingly enough, the vacuum that I chose to do today, was one that I got from him. So Philip, if you're out there watching, thank you again for this amazing machine. He gave it to me when I saw him last summer when I was picking up my late friend Jason's collection. Philip came over and helped me load the truck and got everything kind of situated. And in his car, he had brought me some gifts, and this was one of them. So very, very happy to have this one. It is really, really cool, and it goes perfectly with the power center that was in Jason's collection. So I kind of have a match set. And we'll take a look at that power center at some point soon. I just need to get it out and clean it up and put all the pieces back with it and everything. They kind of got separated in the move, but we'll get that all figured out and we'll take a look at that soon. But anyways, let's get on to our run demo and see how the Proformance cleaning system does on the floor. Well, everybody, we've got the 1994 Kenmore Proformance all plugged in and ready to go. So let's get this thing going and see how it does on the floor. And there you have it, folks. The Kenmore Proformance, circa 1994. This machine actually does phenomenal. It put down perfect carpet lines, which is why I wanted to kind of accentuate that when I got that cool shot there. But this thing is really, really nice. I mean, height adjustment wise, not a whole lot of options with high, low, and medium. But, I have a medium pile carpet. I don't have a high pile. I don't have a low pile. Medium is perfect, which I want to wager that most people's houses are a medium pile, but just me. But this thing did phenomenal. I'm really, really proud of it for a machine that, there really wasn't many of them made or that survived. This thing is pretty nice. It's also pretty robust. I mean, just kind of getting this down in the carpet, this thing does really nice. It just sticks to that ground, and, dare I say, it's about as firm as an Elite. So, but I hope you guys all enjoyed our little run demo for today. Well, everybody, I hope you guys all enjoyed our little video today on the Kenmore Proformance from 1994. Going back to that time frame, I mean, I was about 1 year old when this thing came out, so we're pretty close in age now. So, it's always good to find a friend. But it did a fantastic job on the floor. I'm really, really proud of that. And of course, another big thank you to Philip for bestowing this beautiful machine onto me. I mean, it did need a little bit of a cleanup once I got it home and everything, and gave it a good detail, and now it looks great. But that just brings me to the point that I always like to make whenever I show off a machine I got from somebody, and that being, a lot of my collection and a lot of my hobbies revolve around other people. I have a lot of friends in this, industry, if you will, and it has been a joy making them over the years. Some have been with me since the very, very beginning. Some of them have passed away, unfortunately. Others have come and go, and all of that has been a joy because you never have a shortage of stories, you never have a shortage of friends when you're in a group of collectors, and this is just a testament to all of that. Friends are there to help you when you're looking for something that you really want, or maybe you find a new home with another collector. I know several people bought machines from my eBay already that have been other collectors or still are other collectors in that way. And if you're out there watching right now, I really hope you're enjoying those machines. But I always like to give a special thanks to all my friends out there that have contributed to my collection or my knowledge or anything like that over the years. Because without you guys, it's a kind of a lonely world out here. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video today. Please definitely go down and check out my eBay page down below, as well as our publishing page on Amazon. And if you feel so inclined, please feel free to get a copy of our book, because I put a lot of work into them, and we're cranking more and more out so we can get more out to kids and try to help out and make a difference. So, but anyways, you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend as well as a great Sunday, and we will catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, y'all.